Welcome back to Beyond Wisdom, where we explore timeless truths for a more peaceful and meaningful life. We've all been there. Someone says something sharp, unkind, or dismissive, and it lingers. An insult, no matter how small, can echo in the mind for hours, even days. But what if there were a way to not just ignore insults, but to become truly immune to them? The ancient Stoics believed there was, and they practiced it daily. Today, we'll uncover this simple, powerful Stoic insight that can help you meet criticism, cruelty, and mockery with clarity, not pain. The Stoics taught that our peace depends not on what happens to us, but on how we interpret what happens. Epictetus, once a slave, later a great teacher, told his students, "If someone speaks ill of you, do not defend yourself against their words, but instead say, 'He does not know me well, for he would have said much worse.'" It sounds strange at first, even humorous, but behind that joke is a serious truth. Stoicism teaches that an insult is only harmful if we believe it. The opinion of someone else is not a fact, and it certainly doesn't have to shape our sense of who we are. When we internalize this, we start to see insults not as daggers, but as echoes. They reflect the person who threw them far more than the person they're thrown at. A bitter word reveals bitterness. A cruel jab reveals pain. The Stoics would ask, why would you let someone else's emotional turbulence reach your inner calm? It's like letting a stranger storm into your home and rearrange the furniture. You wouldn't allow it there. Why allow it in your mind? Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome and lifelong Stoic, wrote in his private journal, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been." That may sound like denial, but it's actually discipline. The Stoics believed that no insult can truly injure you unless you agree with it, unless your inner judge decides it has merit. But that judge is yours. You control whether to accept the insult as true or not. Imagine two people walking down the street. Someone calls them both a fool. One laughs and keeps walking. The other carries it for weeks. Same insult, different power. Why? Because one person let their inner judge pass a fair verdict. This is not true. This doesn't deserve my energy. The trick is to slow down the moment between insult and reaction. To pause and ask, do I believe this? Is it worth my peace? Often, we find that the insult fades as quickly as it came. Seneca, another great Stoic thinker, advised what he called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of misfortune. This meant mentally preparing for challenges before they arrived. One way to become immune to insults, he suggested, was to expect them. Not in a cynical way, but in a calm, grounded way. He wrote, "If you know that people are going to speak ill of you, why be surprised when it happens?" This isn't pessimism, it's preparation. When you rehearse the idea that someone might mock, dismiss, or attack you, you take the sting out of it. You stop seeing insults as unexpected storms, and more like weather patterns you're already dressed for. A modern example might be an actor reading bad reviews. If they expect some to be harsh, they won't fall apart when it happens. Stoics trained themselves not to hope for constant praise, but to cultivate steadiness, even when criticized. One of the most powerful Stoic tools is to use every difficulty as a path to self-understanding. This includes insults. Epictetus said, "If an ignorant person speaks ill of you, ignore them. But if a wise person does, ask yourself if what they said might be true. This isn't about people-pleasing. It's about growth. If someone insults you and it hits a nerve, it might be an opportunity to look at that nerve. Ask, why did this bother me? Is there something in me that still doubts myself? If yes, then the insult became a mirror, showing you where you're still seeking outside approval. That's valuable. But if you look into the mirror and see no truth, then let it go. You don't stand at every mirror and argue with your reflection. You just move on. The Stoic trick isn't just to dismiss all criticism, but to sift it. Keep what's useful. Let the rest fall away like dust from your shoulder. Sometimes what we call an insult isn't malice. It's projection, confusion, or insecurity. The Stoics understood this deeply. They saw that people lash out when they are in pain, when they are afraid, or when they feel unheard. This is why Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Whenever you are offended at someone's fault, turn to yourself and consider your own failings. Then forget your anger." This kind of radical empathy doesn't excuse cruelty, but it removes its power. If someone insults you because they're struggling to be heard, or because they carry shame, then their words are not really about you. They're about their own unhealed wounds. To see this clearly is to disarm the insult. You don't have to absorb it. You just have to understand where it's coming from. Like watching someone throw a stone at the ocean. It makes a splash, but the sea remains vast and unmoved. The ultimate Stoic trick is this. Remember that your worth is not something another person can give or take away. It's not a vote or a consensus. The Stoics rooted their self-respect in something deeper. Their character, their actions, their choices, not other people's opinions. Think of Socrates, slandered, ridiculed, even sentenced to death. Yet he stayed calm. Why? Because he knew who he was. He once said, "I am not concerned with what others think I am, but with what I am." That's the core of this wisdom. When insults come, remind yourself, I know who I am. I live by my values. I don't have to explain myself to every passerby. This doesn't make you arrogant. It makes you steady. And honestly, the more you return to this place of inner quiet, the more you find that insults don't stick. They don't pierce. They don't even land. Because you're standing somewhere too deep for surface-level attacks to reach. In the end, the Stoic trick isn't magic. It's mindset. It's the daily discipline of returning to yourself, again and again, until you no longer look outward for permission to feel okay. When insults arise, you meet them with calm. When criticism appears, you meet it with clarity. And when someone tries to disturb your peace, you realize they can't, unless you let them. The wisdom of the Stoics isn't about becoming cold or indifferent. It's about becoming free. Free from the noise, from the approval of the crowd, and from the sting of shallow words. That's not just a philosophy. It's a kind of quiet power, and it's available to you every day. Have you ever turned an insult into insight, or let one shape your view of yourself? Share your experience in the comments. We'd love to hear your story. Thanks for watching. If this video brought you value, subscribe to Beyond Wisdom. Until next time, stay calm, stay strong, and stay wise.